Epstein files doesn't exist, apparently. I thought it existed this entire time. That's what I've been led to believe. Everyone's been talking about it for fucking years. So they released this long ass video and they're saying that he deleted himself. There's no conspiracy. Nobody came in there and did anything. And he just deleted himself. You know, I mean, I've always kind of wondered, this is kind of weird. You know, this is, you know, that like he's a pretty high profile guy. I've always thought that he's got some names. That's always the thing that I've thought. In a statement released today, we'll just cut to the good part here. The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that he could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. The conclusion that Epstein died by S-word is further supported by video footage from the common area of the Hearing Council Unit, SHU, where Epstein was housed at the time of his death. As DOJ's Inspector General explained in 2023, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the SHU common area would have been captured by this footage. The FBI's independent review of this footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, until around 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of the tiers in the SHU. Honestly, I mean, there's a whole ass video showing it. Just saying, I think that he probably did it, you know, but I also believe that he had a list. They're saying there is no list. What happened to this list? We were promised a list.
The DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
They're saying that they just did this investigation, didn't find anything. Here's another thought. Maybe they didn't find anything because it's already gone.
I'm not blaming the FBI director, Kash Patel, or the deputy director, Dan Bongino. I think that that layer beneath them, that's part of what we like to call the deep state, has taken this bull by the horns, and they've probably destroyed information. Look at what the CIA did in 1975 after Congress ordered that it release all of its files related to an operation called MK Ultra. The director of the CIA went back to headquarters and ordered everything to be destroyed. And in the end, only about 20% of the documents survived. We're still learning about the FBI's operations against Martin Luther King 55 years after the fact. So now we're supposed to believe that everybody's telling the truth, that there were no files, there were no dossiers. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it because I know how these people operate.
That I can believe, right? Like, hey, they destroyed a bunch of stuff before Trump got in office, you know, like that. We heard reports of that from all kinds of departments, you know, destroying things. Like, I think it was, what's the one? The US aid. These people all know that Trump's going to be the president for like a bunch of time before he actually takes power. So they have plenty of time to clean stuff up before he gets in there and starts doing stuff. So I actually believe this guy, Kash Patel, and the Dan Bongino, I think they are genuine dudes that like are really good people to put on this because they would like dedicate to it, you know, like it's an honor, you know, they take it real seriously. And I can totally believe that they didn't find anything because if there was something, it's been destroyed. If he was on suicide watch, then he wouldn't have any means to do anything to himself. That's the thing about suicide watch, right? They take everything away from you. You don't get shoelaces. Your socks are like tiny little hospital socks. That's like, they take everything away. And they check on you often if you're on that. I think that he was able to get himself off of that because 24 hours prior, he says that he had no intentions to harm himself to his lawyer, right? So because of that, I mean, that's what somebody that wants to do it would do. I believe that he did. I'm one of the people, I'm like, it's the most like easiest, most likely way for it to go about, right? Like Occam's razor, like, I mean, he did it himself, right? But I do believe that there was a list. And I think that like taking himself out was going to be, it was a lot better than what he was going to have to deal with later, whether it was from shadowy figures or just the public shame of it. Maxwell is in prison for no particular reason. Things are really confusing because she was tied to like this list. So where's this list? Yeah, why is she? She actually, no, she was charged with crimes. I actually covered that years ago when it happened. Yeah, no, I covered that. Now I'm remembering. I'm forgetting the details, but I covered that a while ago. She was charged with crimes and convicted. Found guilty and convicted. The truth is out there, so there's no point in burning those files. I mean, that's the way I would like it to be. That's the way I would like to be, but it just, you know, the reality is we will probably never know. Just like some of these other crazy events in history, like JFK, for example, Martin Luther King. We'll never really know. We'll never really know. Yeah, Illuminati. They released a 10-hour video of the night Jeffrey Epstein died, saying it proves he took his own life. Says there is no evidence he kept a client list. The FBI's independent review of this footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in a cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9th in 2019 until 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of the tiers of the SHU, they said in a memo. The systematic review revealed no incriminating client lists. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. Yeah, well, have we ever seen like actual evidence of that? I know everyone just kind of talks about it like it's real, but I've only, to be honest, I've only heard about these things through like comment sections and like YouTube videos and stuff like that. Podcasts. That's the, like, to be honest, that's the only like time I've ever really heard about that stuff. I'm not like trying to say that it's not a thing, but I am kind of second guessing myself here. But, you know, like, I'm like, you know what? Maybe there was nothing. Because I like think about it, like, I never really, you know, maybe the PSYOP is working on me. But maybe I'm the only person that's fucking working on. Because no one else is saying this shit. No one else, dude. So I might be like way off, you know, the right direction. I'm not saying the right things as a YouTuber here, but I'm just like second guessing myself. To be honest, I actually haven't really seen any evidence of that. I've just heard about it. And then just thought about the situation. I've seen all these pictures of him with famous people. I've seen the pictures of him with the young girls, and then I've seen the Netflix documentary that he was abusing young girls. He was a serial, you know, abuser of young girls. His girlfriend or whatever, Maxwell Silverhammer, whatever her name is, she was helping. She would go pick up the girls. She was the woman that makes the girl feel safe. Because if it's a woman, it's safer. It was actually disgusting. I've seen all that. I believe all that. Yeah, I believe he did all that, 100%. But I haven't seen anything about actually anything like all this conspiracy happening. I haven't seen any of that. I've only seen the stuff with the girls. That's the only stuff I've seen that is proven beyond a doubt. You know, like that even with the court and everything, he's screwed. But we haven't seen anything else. And with all the discovery and stuff, they didn't find anything. I'm kind of second guessing it. Like maybe sometimes things are just like not the most exciting, you know? Sometimes it's the boring version of why something is. And I believe that we'll never know, but I'm just presenting the possibility that, and this isn't popular to say as a YouTuber, this is like literally the wrong thing to say, but it's what's going through my mind. I'm like, hey, it's, you know, maybe it was, he just got around. I don't know, you know, like, 100% not shady. No, I don't think that, you know, but I think it's not sometimes things may not be as conspiracy as we want them to be. I think it'd be way more exciting if there was some crazy conspiracy and you had a list, you know, that sounds way more fun and exciting. But oftentimes the reality of things is it's kind of like Occam's razor boring version, like answers to why things are. Now, there is one interesting little aspect here. So in the 8-hour footage, there is a missing minute of footage. So as you can see, a whole minute goes by. Here, let's do that again. 11:58, and then it goes to 12, right on the dot. So why would that happen? I don't know. A lot of mysteries in the world. There's a lot of explanations. Maybe it's like a technological thing, but it's, you know, and then because it's like kind of weird that it's right on the dot at 12 a.m. is when it starts again. So maybe it was some sort of 24-hour clock issue with this thing. We could check previous tapes and see if that same thing is happening. You know, that's one way you could be sure on why that minute is missing. There is no mention of why there's a minute missing. And if they thoroughly checked this, you know, they with the FBI, I mean, they would know of it then. You know what I'm saying? But it also could be something that shady that happened. But with that said, at this time, Epstein was still alive. So this happened hours before he died. So like now, if this missing minute was like on the dot around the time he died or something, then that would be like very smoking gun for me. Just saying, like that's, you know, it's gone too far, and that's very smoking gun in my opinion. So I wouldn't be able to, you know, try and rationalize things away at that point. I'll be like, that is such a coincidence. That's wild. You know, that plus a lot of other things that are coincidences. That would be the nail in the coffin for me personally. But it happens hours before anything. Now, could somebody have like walked in during that time and then like went in the cell or whatever, I guess? I don't know. I think we're starting to reach, you know, maybe. But here's what Tim Pool has to say about it. He said, not only is 1 minute missing from the footage, the frame jumps and a dude walks in and enters one of the rooms. What is this footage supposed to be? Does he have it here? So we're on that same time. It's, the chat's in front, but you can see the time still if you're watching horizontally. And we're about to have our time jump here any moment. And we'll see if there's a guy in a frame. We'll pay attention for a guy. Let's see what Tim Pool is saying. I don't know, like that was kind of out of context for me. I don't understand how a woman can do that to another woman. Anybody can be a monster. That's what I have to say about it. So that was the time jump, but I didn't see a guy. Unless there's a frame of a guy that's in here at some point. I don't see the frame of a guy unless I missed it. So the timing is really interesting to me. So it goes from 11:58, and then right when it gets to like 2 seconds behind 11:59, that's when it clicks in. It just screams, not screams, but it has like strong evidence for me personally of the of like a timing issue with the you know, like maybe there was something set to save. It was set to save like the day, right? And it's saving it. I don't know. It's I'm not really sure what the system is, but being like right on the dot, right at midnight is you know, suspiciously like it's saving or something, like saving the data to the hard drive. You know, here it is. It's about to happen again. Let's just watch it. So it's going to be 2 seconds before it gets to 11:59. So like maybe it's set on a timer. Here we go. Right now. There it is. And then it starts exactly on the dot at 12. Just saying, to me, that sounds like a technology thing. Because it's just like right on the dot, and it's hours before Epstein's death. So the missing minute to me, and now the some guy that's on for a frame, I'm not seeing that. Oh, maybe that was it. Is that his cell? There is that guy. This is again, this is hours before he died. It did look like it's a guard. Oh, here it is right here. Is that his cell? Like, what is that? That's actually kind of weird. But it wasn't like a guy that was there for a frame and it got cut out. That's just like, so this is the whole thing. This is from the website. So like, what's the explanation for that? I guess we can find out, but again, this is hours before Epstein died. That was just like a highlight point. I think that like that guy going in a room and then there's like a missing minute is just making people like freak out.